ZakPak, he's always there for you. ZakPak, only on YouTube. ZakPak, what will he do next? ZakPak, let's find out, 'cause it's on with the show.
Hey guys, Zach here, coming at you with another video. So today, I'm going to be doing another Luigi's Mansion 3 video. Now, this video is going to be a little bit different. Well, I don't want to say different, because it's really all the same. Me talking about Luigi's Mansion 3, really anytime I can. Because I really want to cover this game a lot. Because I feel like my opinions on the Luigi's Mansion series as a whole is very common throughout the whole entire community of Luigi's Mansion fans. So I feel like I just like being able to put out my opinion on anything that has to do with Luigi's Mansion. So this video is going to be talking about what I think, not of particularly Luigi's Mansion, but next level games, and if I think they are capable of producing a good Luigi's Mansion game. And to do that, I'm not even just going to look at Luigi's Mansion 2. I'm not just going to look at that. I'm also going to look at the other games that they worked on, particularly Punch-Out! And the Mario Strikers series, which both of those, well, I mean, I guess 3 if you count the fact that there's 2 Mario Soccer games, they are really good. Particularly for me, Mario Strikers. I love those games. And, you know, when I figured out, obviously, Next Level Games did those, I was like, where did Luigi's Mansion 2 go wrong? I mean, hell, Mario Strikers had more of a badass atmosphere than Luigi's Mansion 2 had a spooky one. You would think that for the Mario Soccer game, they would go for the more cartoony aesthetic, whereas for the haunted spooky game, they would go for a more edgy aesthetic. So, really, really weird off the bat. But it also makes me think, like, they made those Mario Strikers games, and by extension also Punch-Out!, and they were all really good. So they are capable of making good games. They've done it before, but with other franchises. So that's why, when it comes to Luigi's Mansion, I think it all boils down to, did they listen to the complaints from Luigi's Mansion 2? Obviously, I'm presuming they did to some extent, because this is all presumption, because the game hasn't been shown off that well yet. But we are all presuming that this game takes place in one main mansion, and we're also presuming that because of that, it ditches the mission-based structure. And this could go either way in terms of why Next Level did it. They could have done it because of the fact that the fans spoke out against the mission-based structure, but they also could have done it because that the main reason they had the mission-based structure in the first place was because the system was a handheld. You know, the 3DS, I should say, you know, when Luigi's Mansion 2 came out. So, it's really, it's unclear as to what made them make that decision to exclude the mission-based structure from this game, which I'm very glad that they did. But there's other complaints that people have had about Luigi's Mansion 2 that even seems to have transferred to Luigi's Mansion 3, that Next Level game seems to have kind of either ignored or just have not addressed as of yet. The first of which being the graphical style of Luigi's Mansion 2. Very cartoony, very open, very empty. You know, like, I mean, I think Luigi's Mansion 2, it worked for the 3DS. I'm not going to say that for the 3DS I expected more, but I'm saying for the Switch, I do expect more. For me, personally, yes, I love the realistic-ish, creepy, atmospheric mansion that was in the original Luigi's Mansion. And I liked the more cartoony artwork in Luigi's Mansion 2. I liked both. But when Luigi's Mansion 3, the whole thing was coming around the rumor mill, you know, it got me thinking, like, well, which one would I want more? Would I want a more cartoony look, or would I want a more atmospheric look? And for me, it was easy. if you're going to have a very powerful console, right? If you have this HD powerful handheld console, hybrid console, you got to go for the more better looking experience. You got to go for the more atmospheric looking experience, the more realistic looking experience. So when the trailer came out and we saw that it had a lot of Luigi Mansion 2's, aesthetic, it was kind of like, oh, so you're gonna keep going with that look, and it even looks bad in some areas. Like I mentioned this in my Nintendo Switch complaints video, rant video that was like a couple weeks back, but it really just does look like the 3DS version, but like with a little bit of a graphics boost. And I get it, yeah, it looks better than the 3DS version, but it doesn't look as good as it could look. Like, look at Mario Odyssey. Look at Breath of the Wild. Those games look fantastic. So Luigi's Mansion should be no exception. It should look just as good as those. And especially because of the environment that it's supposed to be in, this haunted, creepy mansion, we haven't really seen that in Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild. It isn't really in those games. So, it really should look better. Like, it doesn't look bad, per se. Like, I'm not saying that the game looks awful. Like, I'm not saying that if the game released looking how it looks, I would say it's a bad-looking game. I'm just saying it could look way better. It could look 100 times better. And that's just the fact of the matter. Another thing that I'm kind of unsure what they're doing. I think I get it, and I get an idea of what they're kind of doing, but at the same time, we don't really know, and that's the direction of the ghosts. This was another thing that, like, when Luigi's Mansion 3, the rumors started coming around, it's like, well, did I prefer the more, creepy, actually tried to be creepy ghost of the original game, or the friendly-looking cute ghost of the second game? And that got me thinking, I'm like, well, I mean, if the atmosphere is going to be there with the mansion, so should the ghosts. The ghosts should be creepy. The ghosts should have some sort of life to them. They shouldn't just be minion knockoffs. They shouldn't be goofy. They shouldn't be like, woohoo. No, they shouldn't be. They shouldn't do that. That's not how Luigi's Mansion 1 worked. That's not why Luigi's Mansion 1 was such a big appeal to gamers. That's not. If you go back to Luigi's Mansion 1, one of the main reasons people loved that game was because of the portrait ghosts, and I'll get to that later. And, it wasn't because of the main ghosts. They were just kind of there. They weren't the main show. They didn't have to show off or anything. They were just there. They weren't spectacles like these ghosts in Luigi's Mansion 2 were. And thankfully, I'm kind of getting more of a sense of the first game in Luigi's Mansion 3. There's not really an instance, besides of that one cutscene where the ghost was, like, scaring Luigi, there wasn't really anything showy-offy about the ghost. I mean, yeah, there was that one ghost that was, like, pulling the rug, but, I mean, that's really it. They weren't, like, throwing anything around. They weren't going crazy and smiling and going, whoa. No, they weren't doing any of that. They were trying to kind of be creepy. They were trying to actually attack Luigi. They were and the ghosts looked good. Wish their eyes were yellow, but other than that, the ghosts looked good. So do I think that next level games can do this? I think they can. I do have faith in them, because like I said, I like the Mario Strikers games. If they did those really well and made them edgy and atmospheric, for like the type of game that it was, they could do the same here. They very well could. It's just that we don't know if they're listening or not. I've actually sent Next Level Games a few emails. Yes, I'm petty like that. And I've just sent them links to a bunch of different YouTubers' videos about Luigi's Mansion 3 and their thoughts and what they should do. I've sent them many big YouTubers' videos saying, hey, I know you're not going to reply to me because I'm a little guy, but just watch these. Like, these provide all the insight you need on your game. We as gamers, we are the ones that provide the critiques. Yes, there's the critics, like the IGNs of the world and all that stuff that give, like Luigi's Mansion 2 a higher score than Luigi's Mansion 1 because of gameplay. But they don't grade on actual substance, in my personal opinion. The grading systems on higher end reviewers, it's bullshit. They either get paid off or it's stupid. I don't fully trust game reviewers in the sense of like bigger company like reviewers, like I said, like IGN or GameSpot or whatever. I don't use them. I use the YouTubers like you and like me, the ones who play these games for real when they launch and actually make a formulated, honest opinion on those games. And lots of people don't hold Luigi's Mansion 2 in a higher regard than the original. But guess what? Critics have given the second one a higher rating than the first one. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people who like the second more than the first. I know there are, and they're probably going to make themselves vocal in the comment section. But personally, I think that Next Level Games should really just take parts of both games and just implement them together to make a grander experience. Because take those things from Luigi's Mansion 2 that everyone liked, and take the bits from Luigi's Mansion 1 that everyone liked, like the portrait ghost, like the actual non-mission based structure, like the open exploration of the mansion. Put those with the more unique fighting combat styles with the sequel, a more formulated story like the second one kind of had, stuff like that. Put those together and make a great experience. I think Next Level Games could do it. But the problem is, or the question is, I should say, will they do it? And that we'll have to wait and see for. I'm honestly predicting that we will see more of Luigi's Mansion in either. I'm unsure about January. I don't know if we're gonna see it in January, but I think we might in March. I think Luigi's Mansion 3 might pop up in the March Nintendo Direct. That's what I'm hoping. We'll get more information, maybe even a release date, and from there, we're golden. We're definitely going to see it at E3. It's a definite E3 appearance, and I think it's going to release in the fall. Personally. So, Next Level Games have just under a year to fix this game up and make it great. Unless they delay it. Highly possible, because they did that with Dark Moon. But I think they can do it, but my skepticism is higher than my optimism. We'll see what they do. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Until next time, guys. See you in the next video.